production box. Allow this as a program. Okay. Let me see if it finds my mic.
Wednesday, time for Linux.
Oh, yeah,
that's what you're thinking. You're sitting back and you're just like, yo, man, what's going on? I could use a little bit of penguin-flavored technology news in my life, and you know what? I'm here to give it to you. It's gonna be a thing. What's going on, everybody? We're getting ready for another weekly Daily Wednesdays. As we're kind of winding up, thinking about some things like, hey, you know what? App images are safe to install after all. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, I knew that. In fact, this one comes up with an exception code right off the bat on Audacity. It doesn't like my low latency kernel. Oh, my goodness. Yep. Don't send.
Don't send? What are you, a Windows user?
No, it keeps giving me exception codes. Yeah, I'm not going to deal with this right now.
So, what do we got on the floor tonight? A couple things we're going to be talking about. I want to tell you about a new open source cross-platform browser that is out there. I'm very excited about it because that's something we need. Audacity's got a new beta. It's got some audio stuff. Jill's going to tell you about System 76's new Threadripper Pro. And, of course, we even have updates for Raspberry Pis. The operating system. Yeah, that's right. That's right. For those of you who don't want to just run regular Debian on your Raspberry Pi, actually, I don't recommend run the Raspberry Pi. Debian is very much one of those things like, yeah, you can make it run, but nah, I wouldn't go out of your way for it. Just use the standard Raspberry Pi image. How's everybody doing? Mm-hmm. Yeah, happy exception codes, man. You get exception codes when you're testing software. It's like really ludicrous.
Yeah. So I like the interface. I think they did a nice job. It looks nice. It looks a little more organized.
Hello, Katana.
Hi, Artheron. Hi, Katana. Hi, Strider.
Your message wasn't liked by the bridge.
Yeah, it shows you how tired I was. I was nervous about running an app image. Not thinking.
Right. We got things together. How's everybody doing on their Wednesday? We got about 9 minutes before we're going to launch this little rocket.
Okay.
I've been playing around all morning, getting brushed up, doing a little reading, finding out about technology that I'd otherwise try to avoid. I ran into an interesting thing yesterday, though. I was playing around with our web zone, and we use Blueberry. Blubbery, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
For the WordPress integration for the podcast. Just kind of make my life easier. And like, hey, we got an update. I'm like, all right, update looks fine, looks harmless. And I updated the plugin. I'm like, okay, this is a thing. Nothing really changed. But then it says, hey, we have a new audio player. I'm like, let me just go see. Oh, okay, here's what it really was. If you've ever been in your WordPress admin dashboard, when you get a new plugins and people like to be cute, and they're like, hey, look, we've highlighted a thing on your navigation on your left side. And I'm like, if I click on that, it'll go away and I don't have to see it. So that's what I did.
Okay.
I did a little bit of reading. Apparently I wasn't paying too much of attention because it changed the default, which I would just use a standard HTML player. Because we host everything. And click save, didn't think anything about it. Went and like, hey, look, the pages load. Which is always a good sign. I go to check the, just like the latest Linux Gamecast, whatever. All of the embedded videos are gone for everything.
Oh boy.
That's a fun thing to track down, especially when the site, because we can't just like, oh, clear cache. It's like, no, let's go over to Cloudflare. Let's shut down edge caching. Then we clear that cache, then we can clear the cache on the box. Getting to the box itself is a chore. What it turned out to be was by default it changed it to just some other player that we don't normally use, which is like a notch up. And my fault, I clicked save without reading through everything, so I clicked that.
Oh.
I thought I was going to be in for tracking that down, disabling it, and figuring out what it was, but that's all it was. It wasn't too bad. All of this took place 30 minutes before we went live last night for Trackmania.
Okay, that's what was going on.
So I had a bunch of stuff I was running around and doing. It wasn't fun. That's never fun, man, when you're sitting there like, oh no, there's a fire. Part of you, part of that brain, part of your brain mates does go, ooh, here's a project we're going to be playing with. And you're like, no, it sounds horrible. Right? Yeah, wanted to use default Flash player? Well, they have a couple of, like fancy, like built-in plugin. I'm probably going to change off to another WordPress integration thing, just because that thing's so heavy for what we use it for. You do have to test in production. So what does everybody think about buying an Epic desktop or building an Epic desktop? How does that sound? Does that sound like something Vince Stone would do? Might be trying to talk myself into that. That might be very much on the table after weighing and considering the prices of Threadripper Pros. Why? Because AMD killed Threadripper, if you don't know, right? The regular, ordinary, slightly overpriced HEDT series is gone. Despite what AMD said. You know, I would be mad. You know, I was a little miffed because the current gen of Threadrippers required a new socket. The original socket, TR4, it got 2 revisions. You know, you get the original, then you get Gen 2 Threadripper, but Gen 3 Threadripper, oh, you need to buy a new socket. Don't worry, everyone. This is the one that's going to let us continue forward. You got one generation, and AMD came out, and they said, psych. If you want to upgrade, you need to buy WRX 80 now, which, for like your basic motherboards, you're talking $800, man. It's more than I need. It's more than I need. So I've been digging around, looking around. Here's another problem. Threadripper's on the used market. The CPUs. It's not a high volume item. So when you go looking on the used market, there's nothing even resembling deals. They're just not. Epic, plenty of Epics out there. Supermicro makes a very nice Epic EATX motherboard, and it doesn't have all the random junk on it that I don't need, like Wi-Fi or built-in audio. Like, no. Couple of differences. I'm gonna have to like buy some RDIMM ECC memory. Like, all right, that's not too bad. But where it does get interesting is those boards are going to support the Epic 7002 and 7003 series, so I can get like that mid-range Epic CPU. I can get a 24-core, 48-thread CPU for probably about $500, which sounds, it's so much easier to eat that price than what's a 24-core, 48-thread Threadripper Pro going to cost? $1,700? Would it be a dual? No. No. I'm going to talk more about that in the show, Katana. Not my biggest hang-up, but one of my big hang-ups with getting Threadripper Pro right now, and this is a very real thing, is AMD has not put the 3945 WX, like in general channels, which is the 12-core, 24-thread Threadripper Pro. There's kind of like two camps with people who want Threadrippers or stuff like that, or HEDT. There's the, and this is perfectly fine, by the way, if you fall into this camp, this is not a knock on you. There's the people who want bragging rights. You're like, look at all the cores I have that I never use. And like, what do you use it for? And you say VM, and me and Strider go, what's your workload? And they go really quiet all of a sudden. Then you get people who need to build production boxes like me. Like, what do I need CPU-wise? I need something that'll let it boot, because it's a means to an end. What I need access to is 128 lanes of PCI Express. So basically, long as it can power, like, does it have enough grunt to do 1080p 60 gaming? Good, brilliant, love it. That's it. That's my desktop use right there. Can it run DaVinci Resolve? Brilliant. Can I launch OBS? Awesome. So no, I don't need dual anything. Hello, Oil of Hope. But yeah, I've been digging around, and on the used market, Epic, it's like shopping in a candy store. It is. And you see, to that point, Katana, I can even get a P-Series. I can get a P-Series Epic, which is one that's been nerfed to where it only works in single CPU configurations. They're even cheaper. It's even more brilliant. But, ladies and gentlemen, the best part about building an Epic system is I can get a motherboard that is green. How about that? Plus the motherboard's like $500 too, instead of $800. Green motherboard. I'd even get green RAM. Who wants red, man? I can go straight hipster, man. I can get a side panel with like a fixie and a can of PBR etched into it. It'd be awesome. I could buy some wood paneling. Yeah, no blinky stuff, no RGB controllers, nothing. It's one of those motherboards that you would look at, scoff at, and go, I bet Vin would like that. And I'm like, you'd be right too. I'm like, yeah. Well, here's the other thing, Arthur, there's not a lot of options when it comes to Epic EATX motherboards. There's Super Micro and we're done, period. Now, here's something I did find when I was looking around. They make, like, no joke, you can buy a mini ITX motherboard with an embedded Epic CPU in it. For what use case, I have no idea, but they exist. Oh man, a brown colored data centers? Mini ITX? Maybe? I don't know. I don't know. But Epic also has the advantage of being significantly lower powered. Yeah, all the stuff that I would actually need, none of the stuff that I don't. And can you just imagine, like, I get all the sweet, sweet tears from the people who would be angry that I'm playing video games on it?
Oh, I think it's awesome.
Like, you're not supposed to do that's a horrible... It works, kids.
Aw, hi, Oil of Hope. Gamatron, hello, hello. Oh, Arthur, here's my mug today. Or it's a nice travel mug, and it says magical unicorn on it, and it's got a little on the top of the lid, it's got a 3D unicorn with little pearl balls. It's very cute, very kawaii. I got it from AliExpress. Very corny. Best mug ever, yeah. I've had this one for a while, and I used it but it's been a couple years since they've showed it on LWW because I haven't used it for a few years. So I'm going to use this one probably for maybe two weeks. Kind of rotate them around. I have other unicorn mugs as well. Aw, hi PT Dave. Oh, congratulations on getting your Steam Deck. I know Gamatron just got hers not too long ago. Yes. We love our decks. Yes. The first thing I did is get a pink cover, which was hard to find because no one had a pink protector yet for it. So I got it off AliExpress. Yeah, they started making before, I got this one in June. So they started finally, their company on AliExpress started making stuff, and that was before a lot of the official protectors and skins and whatnot were available. Oh yeah, Gamatron. I did see a purple one. Actually, I wanted to get a purple one as well. I like that. Purple, turquoise, pink. And I'm really impressed. This brand has a really, it's really well done. Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, I've got the Flamingo Pink S10. The actual phone is pink. Well, I've shown it to you, and then you've seen it, Strider, and then I put a clear cover on it. Yes.
Put the stickers on your deck. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, PT Dave, have fun. Now there's a lot more accessories available for the deck. When I got mine, they weren't quite out yet. There weren't that many of them out, and most of them were black. And you can get an unofficial dock. I got a really high-end dock for my deck. It cost me about $150, but it's worth it because I got 2 4K holes on it and 4K 60, which is nice.
What you need to get for your deck is a Google Chromebook sticker. It's an anti-theft device. Put it on the back.
I have one of those on my cabinet over here.
Alright, let me check.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the laptop docks are great. I wanted a special dedicated one for my deck, but I do have some laptop ones too. Oh yeah, but it'll run monitors at 4K. So, and that's good.
Just don't try to run that game that we were playing in the after shows and on your deck.
Oh yeah.
Rohit didn't have a good time with
Rohit
that.
had issues. Yeah.
What was that? Just Act Natural. We played a bit of that. There's a video up on Linux Teamcast if you want to see that. It's kind of an interesting game where you have to be an NPC. And if you fail at being an NPC, if you don't act like a robot, you get shot.
Yeah.
We had some fun with that. All right, everyone. I think I got everything together.
That looks like a fun game because it's kind of a little bit of a knockoff of like Among Us. There's some other games that are coming out that are similar in vein. I do like Among Us.
And that is good. All right, everyone. Let's do a show. Before I do that, before we do a show, here is it.
Arthurian, yes, it's show o'clock.
I know it's right in this area. There it is. All right. Are we good to go, Jill?
Yes, we are.
All right, Jill's good to go. You get any more? There we go. That's together. That's working. Let's make it happen. Ladies and gentlemen, episode 343 and 3. Hey everyone, welcome back to Linux Weekly, daily Wednesdays where we sit back, relax, take that midweek break, talk about some of the fun things going on in the world of Linux and open source. That is Jill Bryant, I am Vince Stone. Everyone watching us home. How about watching us live at home? You know what? You can be watching us at home. You know what? I'm wrong. You don't have to be watching us live at home. You can be watching us incorporally at home. I don't know,
incorporally.
after the fact. Whatever. However you want to roll. As long as you're watching. Maybe you're listening after the fact. How's everybody doing? It's middle of the week. Bunch of fun things have happened. Things have gone on. Jill, you joined us last night with the Trackmania. You're getting pretty good, man.
Oh, thank you, Ben. Yeah, I've been practicing a lot. So yeah, the tracks yesterday were really fun. I love it when there's tracks with lots of loops and wall rides. I actually really like those. And I'm happy because I won a map on Friday. Yay!
Right?
Yeah. I am getting better.
It's amazing. It's like we've been at this for like 37 weeks. If you're unfamiliar, we've got like a little project going on where we all just kind of started at one spot and we're like, let's try to have some fun. And let's do it with a little bit of puzzles and racing, which it turned out good combination. Trackmania 2, it's super cheap. It runs on anything. And we get together 2 times a week and we just practice and just, yeah. You hear screaming and, not like, rage screaming of like, why, oh, why? Because we're trying to figure out things. It's a fun time. Everybody's welcome to join it and hang out with us if you want to see that. We'll be back doing that Friday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Couple of things. I was talking in the pre-show. Monday was arts and crafts at my house. Admittedly, arts and crafts at my house might look a little bit different from yours.
Yeah, I saw your tweet, Ben. Here it is.
That's what I was working on. Now, the difficulty, if you keep track of me, you're like, audio cables, there's nothing Cat 5 can't fix. But, I got the supplies in too. Look at that. That looks all professionally made and stuff, doesn't it?
Yeah, you did a good job.
So I put that together. If there is a signal going through something, I can probably find a way to adapt it. So that is the blue thing, which uses post adapters on the back, which is probably one of the reasons I got it so cheap, because I'm sure Jim at Guitar Sitter looked at that XLR connector on the left and he's like, there's not one on the right. You can't possibly use this. It's probably broken.
Oh. Huh.
Not the case. Not the case. You use the post connectors for the in and out, which, is high, low, and ground on both sides. So I just wired that into some XLR barrels. It's back in the rack. Taking care of Snake Jazz. I was happy to see that. And yeah, the reason that took all day, because I made pass one with a lot of things. I made a minimal viable product. Like this functions, but it looked gnarly. There was like wires hanging out. I'm like, yeah. So I went back a couple of times and refined it, but that was kind of fun. I got that out of the way. I'm gonna do a little video on that, a fun little video. I got a couple of fun little videos for like Reaper kind of set up. One for just like basic de-essing. How does this vintage piece of hardware work? It's a 40-year-old thing work against the modern plugin for de-essing. I got another thing for Reaper for people who are doing like live streams and podcasts, how to balance all your audio out automagically if you don't have things like Aphex compellers in your chain. That's going to be kind of interesting. Another one on control surfaces for Adore and Reaper, how to make these little boxes over here. You can move faders around from your PC, which is fun. Let's face it, that's like the coolest part about it. I can take my mouse and make things move over here. It's kind of neat. Now, tomorrow night, we're going to be going into Area 3 and Back for Brad. This is something Jordan and I started a couple of weeks ago. It's open. If you want to come and do it, you got to be smarter than a bot. That's it. We are going to go through all of Back for Blood. And we're doing it every Thursday at 7:30. You can come join us. You don't need a camera. All you need is a microphone. Reply me in Discord sometime before 7:30 tomorrow night. And you can hop in and you can come play with us. It's challenging. Maybe if you like the original Left 4 Dead, this was to be your gem, or if you've been around for a long, long time. We've been doing, we did Left 4 Brad. Took us like over a year to beat it. So this is going to be an
fun to watch.
Going project. And Foxdog was good enough to join us week before last. He had a chance. And that was always fun, running around and doing all that stuff. And of course, Friday we'll be back with Trackmania. So come check that out. Might be a thing. Now, Jill, I got very excited earlier this week.
Yeah, this is an exciting project.
I did. And it's not every day you get to see a new cross-platform browser project in the works.
Yeah.
Ladybird. From the creator of Serenity OS. A nice little post about how the browser has been born. And I said, browsers are hard, man. But then again, this guy's already written an operating system. Might be the right guy for the job. Maybe a browser would even be easy for him. He brings up a couple of things, though. Like, hey, there's no JavaScript JIT compiler just yet. They're using traditional AST interpreter. It's going to be replaced by bytecode VM. It already gets 100% on the acid test. That's a good first start. And there's some Q&A in this. All the links are going to be in the show notes. But he has a good Q&A thing, and he's like, why would you even bother? You can't make a new browser engine without billions of dollars and hundreds of staff. His reply to this, sure you can. Don't listen to Armchair Defeatist, who never worked on a browser. I already am a huge fan of that reply. I tried it out on our web zone. It's a little bit of a fire, but I didn't expect too much. However, I tried it on Slashdot.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that hopefully should work.
Crashed right to the desktop.
Aww.
And most importantly, Zombocom didn't load. However, browsers are hard. Hacker News worked, and you can take a look, just like Reddit pulls up. The reason I'm excited about this, we always talk about we need player 3 in the GPU market, don't we?
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
Do. We need player 3 in the browser wars. We absolutely do. And, there's a whole Q&A section through here, if you find websites. Yeah, and let's be very clear. At this point, there are way more websites that don't work. And they're not really at the point where, reporting individual sites makes sense. But a lot of work is going into this. And I would like an option between, because you have Chromium base, which is going to be your Microsoft Edge, your Googles, and Braves and everything else, and you have Firefox. And you know what? Rightfully so, some people are not happy with either option currently. And to see some innovation moving into this makes me very excited. How about you?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I was also impressed that, he's only been working on Serenity OS 4 years. And he just started working on Ladybird on July 4th. I mean, it's pretty incredible with how far it's come, in so little time. And it's just, like Vince said, it's so exciting to see a new browser being built from the ground up. So we have some competition in the space. And it's really awesome because you can support the project on GitHub sponsors, on Patreon or PayPal. And if you're interested in working on Ladybird or Library Web, Library.js, or any part of the supporting stack, you can find it on the Serenity OS Discord. And they have a nice Discord. I just joined. So I'm looking forward to seeing what this project brings to the table as it gets more fleshed out. And in the article, the developer talked about how, it's probably going to take a couple years before it's really in a good place for wide use, but it's a start.
It is, and I believe it's early enough for me to show up and go, hear me out. Jack's support in the browser.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good idea, Vin. Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. I wouldn't have, to what you said, Jill, it will be a long time. Maybe not as long as we're predicting, but it's going to be a minute before we're going to see something like, full, like Jitsi is going to work in it. But just refreshing, exciting to see something like this, especially when it's being done by somebody like, this guy can do this.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. It's really
this isn't an idea guy. He's like, I have these great ideas. And like, so you want everybody else to do it for you? Yes. And like, well, good luck with that. So another thing made me excited. Audacity. Man, everyone, who was it? Muse came in, bought Audacity. Everyone was so excited about that. Thought it was the best thing ever. And the internet was like super positive. No complaints. They're like, Muse owns Audacity now. Nothing bad to happen. None of what I just said was true. The internet lost its collective mind, screamed, and to this day I have to answer questions about data collection, which is something you gotta opt into. And what is the data? It's like it's the equivalent of gnome telemetry that we talked about last week. Yeah. Not defending it. I'm just telling you what it is versus what it is not. New version of Audacity out. Got my attention. Why? The screenshot I'm showing you right now has an option on the left-hand side of it that says real-time effects. What? In Audacity? Yes.
Woohoo.
You can do it. It exists. They've added a new effects button for the tracks menu, which lets you load your VST3 plugins, LV2, LADSPA, which no one uses. It exists. Yeah. However, and I have it pulled up right now, which is like noise repellent. There's no GUI. Every time I try to load anything with a GUI, straight crash to desktop every time. And, there's been some FFmpeg AV format 59s now supported on Linux. Audacity can now be compiled without Jack. I don't know why that, well, I would understand because Jack implementation in Audacity is poor. And they've switched MAD MPEG 123 to MPEG 123 as the MP3 importer. But yeah, having the real-time effects is kind of important because this is that life that I live over here in the DAW. Because you can do non-destructive editing and testing. I don't have to print the effects every time. And traditionally in Audacity, you got to highlight, then you apply the effect. And if you don't like the effect, what do you got to do? Undo.
Undo it, yeah.
Then maybe change your settings and all that. Being able to have that real-time effects means you can adjust you can just click play and start working on it until you get it where you want it. Then you can print the effect when you go to export it, like a normal DAW, which is great. However, it is super crashy. There's an app image. Joe, you had some problems getting the app image open.
Yeah, I had a lot of errors. It did launch, and I really did like the interface. I think they've organized it really well. I think that's a plus. It is looking better. So that's really good. And I'm actually looking forward to playing with some of the real-time effects. It would be interesting then if it was real-time effects where you have no effects and then you could just turn an effect on while you're recording instantaneously and then turn it off.
You should be able to do that.
That would be cool.
I think there's a power button next to it. I mean, it's something you can do.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Like I do, because I've used some of those effects on synthesizers and music instruments software versions.
Yeah, typically anytime that you can be bringing in VST, VST3, LV2 effects and like that, they're all going to have the ability to enable or disable the effect in your effect time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is something you absolutely will be able to play with, but just be careful because you might be looking at your desktop when you do it. Now, you lot at Audacity or Muse, whoever owns it, I'm not 100% on that. You'll need to fix that build system because I did the app image. I loaded the app image and it kept crashing. What do? The responsible thing. I'm like, off to GitHub we go. Let's look at the build instructions. Man, these are kind of scattered up crazy. You know what? Fine. I would use the word kludge, but I think I'd be just a little too nice because in my world, Conan, if you know, you know. You see that and you're like, this is going to be an adventure. Conan. Not the barbarian. Not the talk show host. No. I'm talking about this thing that likes to break every few months. And when it's taking a break from breaking, it's generating obscure error messages that you could do nothing with. That Conan. I tried. I ran through it, and it's like, step 1, pip install Conan. Sad face. Oh, this isn't going to end up working. Nor did it. So, yeah. friendly, unsolicited advice: clean up that build system, make it something logical. Like that, I don't understand. Like that works for somebody, good for them. But outside of that, System 76. Now, this is my fault because I wished this into existence a couple of months ago.
Yes, you did, Ben. So last Friday, System 76 tweeted that the Thelio Mega is out and that it is the world's smallest quad GPU deep learning workstation. And it has so many unique and awesome things about this machine. There are so many unique and awesome things. One is that the Thelio Mega's thermals and cooling are actually divided into two separate systems. And the unique airflow keeps heat generated by the CPU and GPU from mixing and preventing throttling. So that's just very impressive. Their last few iterations of the Thelio has had really awesome cooling solutions. And there's just so many awesome things about this computer. It's got a Threadripper Pro 5000 WX series processor, an Asus Pro WS WRX 80E Sage motherboard, up to 256 gigabyte of ECC memory, PCI 4.0 NVMe storage, up to 4 NVIDIA A-series or AMD Radeon Pro GPUs. Yes, I said 4 GPUs. And this it requires a 1600 watt power supply to power all the components. And oh my gosh, I am just nerd raging over this machine. I want this machine. This would have been great this is great for all the years I've done animation and rendering and, compiling of kernels and all the stuff we need a high-end workstation for. And this beautiful handcrafted machine starts at $5,799. Which is, on par with a lot of the more expensive workstations. And this one is handcrafted in Denver, Colorado by the fine folks at System 76.
Yeah, it's made by hippies.
Yeah. And they have great customer support, and you get all the bells and whistles of a company that's really passionate about their computers. And it's a thing of beauty, and it's small too. I was impressed by that, how small it is.
So for my brothers and sisters out there, you're thinking about Threadripper Pro, and you're like, is that like regular Threadripper? Yeah, it's like the last gen Threadripper that AMD didn't cancel after one generation, so you're stuck with that. So it's the thing you got to buy next right now. And you're like, lovely, very excited about that. But unlike your regular, ordinary, vanilla Threadripper, with those measly 64 PCI Express lanes, Threadripper Pro brings you the full 128 goodness that's typically found in EPYC server-class CPUs. Now,
nice.
I read over this. At System 76, they believe in 24, 32, and 64 core options. No 12-core option because, you know what, I'm going to throw AMD under the bus on this one. That 3945WX is hidden from everyone but Lenovo. Lenovo is the one company's like, we have the 12-core option. It's just not available in retail channels. I couldn't find it. However, there's also no 16-core option, which I thought was kind of curious. It is PCI Express Gen 4, dual 10 gig Ethernet, 4 dual slot GPUs, because that's the type of person who has no idea what they're doing. They're like, you need to buy some Quadros for that, right? And you're like, dual slot, look, I got 4 there, you guys. I'm like, oh, little buddy, that's cute. So I do have some questions about this, though, because I actually had to talk to a System 76 employee because they did bring up 4 GPUs in this. I'm like, all right. That I had to go double look at the animation. And the animation only shows 4 PCI Express slots because I'm assuming this is a reused animation from your standard Threadripper, which has 4 by 16s. Well, 2 by 16s, 2 by 8s. And I was very curious about that. because they make Threadripper Pros. I'm also looking at you, Lenovo, with only 5 slots, which sounds ridiculous because typically you get 6 to 7 on a Threadripper Pro, same as you would get on an Epic motherboard. I'd consider updating that animation because at a glance, when I looked at that, I was like, oh man, this is like Lenovo, where you only get like, effectively 2 usable slots. Even though you got 4, you do like 1 GPU, then you can squeeze something in and you got 1 more left in there. So maybe update or put like big blinking red text or something like, no, everything's there. And you don't have to worry about it. Because I was told, you do get 7 PCI Express slots, 4.0 by 16. That's good. So don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. However, I had to think about it because, people in my camp, the actual production boxes. Now there's two camps. There's the, I want the bragging rights. I want the YOLO machine. I want all the cores. And I got all this stuff. I'm like, what are you using it for? VMs. You're like, what's your workload? Shut up. I want, and like, just say you want it because it's cool. I'm down with that. I support you just as much as I support people like myself who have legitimate workloads. And we know exactly what we need. And typically in production, especially with like live production, video production, stuff like that, what we need is the minimum amount of CPU with the maximum amount of PCI Express lanes because we got a lot of peripherals, yeah, stuff that you don't even know exists are just required. Like I look at, what do I have in the Threadripper right now? I do have a daily driver GPU. That's a balanced one. It's got to have compute, but it's also got to be able to run a monitor. So, and I have a quad 4K capture card. That's a requirement. I also have a fiber card for 10 gig because 10 gig over copper is, something, it's a bragging right thing. It's not practical in a work environment because nobody has 10 gig copper infrastructure. That's silly. And what I'd like to do, even with my little 3016 here, which again, I got that for the memory. I'd like to throw in some extra compute. I'd like to drop in like an A4000, but I'm out of PCI Express slots. Threadripper Pro is going to fix that. You're going to have those extra slots so you can drop in that little extra bit of compute. I put one together. So I was at about like $6,700 for 24 core, 32 gigs of RAM, A4000. That's not unreasonable. But here's the difference between the Threadripper Pro and this is the problem AMD created, regular Threadripper. Threadripper was enthusiast priced. It was the, you know what? I'm going to buy myself a $1,200 computer or a $1,400 computer. AMD has put Threadripper Pro pricing very much at the high end of prosumer, almost business only. The good old days of like, you start thinking about $6,000, you start thinking about Epic, which is where I found myself building a production box. Like, $6,000, I can, might as well just go Epic for that because then I don't have to deal with all the extra stuff that I don't need, the audio and Wi-Fi and get rid of that. But that's a fair price for a Threadripper Pro. It's just, you got to keep in mind the Threadripper Pros are expensive. So, and we've kind of been cut out of the market. Apparently there wasn't a ton of us. That's why, AMD did the financials on that, like regular Threadripper customer base. Like, because you remember when Threadripper launched, they desperately tried to sell it to gamers. Desperately. They had RGB controllers on the motherboard.
Yeah, that's right.
I have like 2 different types on the motherboard here. It's laughable. I have a dip switch for LN2 overclocking. Not even joking. I think it's lovely because it is silk screened on the motherboard. It says LN2. I don't even know what it does, but it's there. And, they really tried to push it out and it didn't get a bunch of adoption. What the adoption was, people like me were like, yes, that's semi-affordable. Threadripper Pro is a whole different bag though. I think this is a completely fair price, especially when you factor in support. Put together in the States, you don't have to worry about it. You get a decent warranty. I think out of the box, you get a 1-year warranty, which is fine. Yeah, good job on that System 76. But I think, because we were joking about it, like I might have accidentally wished this into existence. I'd like to see a 12-core option.
Yeah.
I really would, but don't do that for me, because the more I look at it and the more I think about it, what makes more sense for me, for somebody with an existing Threadripper platform, is I'm going to be moving to Epic instead of Threadripper Pro. I think that I need more server stuff than I do workstation-y stuff, but I still think that's a nice product. I do.
Oh, definitely. And this is a really good, this is a great machine for the customers of animation houses and big data houses that need high-end machines with 4 GPUs to crunch some numbers and some pixels. So, yeah. This is kind of like the Pentium Pro from 1995, but this is the Pentium Pro of the day.
This is a Pentium Pro from like 1979. It's brown, man. It looks like an Atari.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. I also like to see some updated imagery on that too. Just for people, unsolicited advice. When I'm walking through, I want to see what the backplate looks like, and I want to be able to look into the motherboard and see how many available slots are there, and I want that like right there on the page. I mean, the marketing people are going to they're going to fight you on that. They're like, no, people don't. Yes, we do want to see that. If you're dropping $6,000, you know what you want, and you want to be able to see it. You don't need to go to an extra page for it. So there, free pro tip from your friendly neighborhood old man, Vin. Good product. Go check it out. Once you're done with that, head over to patreon.com/Linux Gamecast. You can help us out doing everything we do here, keeping us loud, live, independent, commercial free. We're not bugging you to buy any mattresses or anything like that, but we will bug you to head over to linuxgamecast.com. Check out the support options if you like. Got some extra coin laying around. Maybe you want to get some merch. We got a store. Put us all over your face, chest, and neck. Jill's got an Amazon wish list with blinky thing. Oh man, your light up rainbow penguin stuffed animal, cute LED glowing nightlight wildlife animal soft plush toy decor's gift for toddlers kids 12 is out of stock.
That one's out of stock. Aw, I just checked yesterday. It was in stock.
Man, it's been a while since I've tested my lung capacity, but I still got it.
Another rainbow penguin.
What do you got? A mechanical?
Yeah, mechanical.
What is that?
It's a stand to show off your keyboard collection, and I have several hundred keyboards. So this is it has slots for 3 keyboards. It's a clear display for your keyboards.
You should show that to Steve and be like, hey man, bring me home 100 of these.
Yeah, I actually need about 100 of them. But I was thinking it would be fun to, like, every month rotate, put different keyboards on the display and just rotate them around. So when people come in my computer room, they'll see different
They will know, and they
keyboards.
get like one step in, they're like, okay, run, man, we got to get out of here. So Jill's got one of those Amazon wish lists. I got one for the studio. You'll never guess what's on it. No idea whatsoever. Not in a million years. There might be some epic stuff on there.
Yes, there is.
I do want to ask you, is there I have a Stream Deck, right?
Yeah.
I got a Stream Deck. I don't know if I can pick it up without breaking something. Let's find out.
Uh-oh.
I got this one.
You got the little one.
Well, this is the big one.
Oh, okay.
This is the 30, 3, 6, 9, 12.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. It's not the super big chunk.
Ultra big one. Yeah.
And I need like 3 more keys.
Oh.
So, Elgato, if you're listening, call me. I need one with, I don't know, like 30 keys on it, maybe ish. I don't really want this big chunky one. That's what I was getting at. Oh, look at, man, I put it on the wrong thing. There we go. Here's the difference. Let's take a look at this. Okay. Here's the difference. This is a Socket SP3 Epic 702 motherboard, $559, right, Joe?
Yeah.
$559.
That's a good price.
Super micro budget.
$850.
$850.
Wow. Yeah.
I don't know. Best bang for the buck, ladies and gentlemen. So there you go. If you can, you don't have any extra spare change, I completely get. Share the show. Tell your friend, tell the cat about it. Come hang out with us. We get an IRC. If you were a Twitch sub, if you're a patron, you get access to our super secret Discord. But that is also linked live to our IRC and Twitch chat for our live shows. So I don't want anyone to feel left out. Come in and talk to us in there. Speaking of Twitch, we get a couple of new Twitch resubs
Yeah, we got PT Dave, 11th month resub.
11th month.
Yeah, 11th month. And we have
11sies?
Yeah, 11sies. And we have Nubbin and Katana Steel. They've been around for a long time, so we have lots of months on their subs. And Alex Sipes just gifted us. Nice. Thank you for for the gift on Twitch, Alex. He gifted us a Patreon, but he's a patron. What?
Gifted us a patron? You were defective this evening.
No,
you need to recharge.
Well, it says Alex Sipes gifted X1, and I'm not sure if it relates to Patreon or to the Twitch gift. I don't know.
Are you talking about Skittles? S31B? Yeah, see, that makes more sense. Yeah, he gifted somebody. He gifted somebody a sub. That's what that means.
Oh, okay. Yeah, duh. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
There we go.
I am a little asleep on the job.
And Don has dropped 100 bits on us. I think that's
he has.
They're not too toxic. They're not even bad. They're much better than cryptocurrency for the environment. Guaranteed.
Aw, 100 cheer diamonds. Yay.
Now, everyone, we got an update. Arthurian sent this in, one of our beautiful party patrons, and dropped it into our show note. That's one of the things you can get our show notes earlier in the week.
Yeah.
Jill, tell us about it, because I'm always excited. Now, we were talking Raspberry Pi Foundation. Could we just get an update on what's going on? Because, I was thinking maybe some information on a new Raspberry Pi. That'd be neat. Like, no. We worked it all the way back. It's like, can we just get an update of like when Raspberry Pi 4B's 8 gigs and 4 gigs are going to get back into full
under $100 range? Yeah.
Or like just like some theories or something like that. But until then, you can go ahead and update your Pi OS.
Yeah, absolutely. So a new version of Raspberry Pi OS has just been released with lots of improvements and features asked for by Raspberry Pi users and us in the Linux community. So what's really cool, one of the cool new features is the main menu plugin on the taskbar has been modified to allow text search. So you just hit the Raspberry Pi key on your keyboard or the Windows or the Super key to open the main menu and start typing the name of the application that you want to launch.
The Super key, which one's that?
The Windows key, or on my keyboard, it has a text penguin on it. It's where the Windows key usually is, Ben. You know that.
Is it next to the any key?
It's next to Control and Alt, usually. That's where you find it. Next to the any key, yes. So also, something new. In previous releases, the volume icon on the taskbar could be used to select both. In previous releases, the volume icon on the taskbar could be used to select both output and input audio devices. But for this release, they've actually been split into two separate icons, one for output and one for input for greater control. So if you plug in a mic, it shows up and you can adjust its volume or mute it. And this is nice. I'm really happy that they split those up. That's very, very convenient and useful. And also, there are keyboard shortcuts now to access the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth menus. You hit Control-Alt-B, opens the Bluetooth menu, and Control-Alt-W opens the Wi-Fi menu. And once the menu is up, the cursor up and down keys can be used to navigate. And that's really nice if you're running the Raspberry Pi headless, or you don't have a mouse connected for many reasons for when you're doing a project with the Pi. And also, in the future, Network Manager will be replacing DHCP CD. But what's nice is you have the option to use Network Manager now. It's still in beta, so they said expect some bugs, but it is pretty much working. And DHCPD is still the default for now, but in the future, we're going to have Network Manager as the default, which is better for controlling VPNs and doing more advanced needs for networking. So that's going to be very, very popular, and people are going to be very happy about that.
Well, it's the Network Manager. Network Manager's been in like the Debian repos if you've been around
Yeah,
both sides,
for
like
ages.
that's just where it's been. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So that's kind of interesting. Every time we talk about Raspberry Pi at the end of every show, I immediately go to the same spot. This is how my brain works. You're probably like this at home. Like, I need to do with something with the thing because I still, new in box. Okay, it's not new in box. I plugged it in, so it made it boot. It was one of the Raspberry Pi Zero W2s to do a project with. Send in some email if you got an idea for a project for one, because I got one just sitting around doing something with that. This is a very well update. I'm always fascinated and reminded because that conversation earlier in the pre-show started with, that's why I want the next gen, because I feel that we're one generation away from Raspberry Pi being able to pull off desktop duty, like real desktop duty. Spare me, because I can feel that comment getting ready to type. I'm like, you can do it. I'm like,
Yeah.
I've used desktop. I got a Pi 480 gig. I played with it on desktop. Don't lie to yourself. It's not a great experience. It's a usable experience. It's better than nothing. It's not a great experience, especially when you load up 1080p WebRTC video and try to tell it to do video capture as a webcam. It's not, it doesn't. But see, I'm getting somewhere. I'd love to replace these 3 boxes under the desk that I have for you, Pedro, and Jordan.
Yeah.
With Raspberry Pis. And one strip of duct tape and just duct tape it all to the bottom of the desk. It'd be great. So maybe the next one will be able to do that. But always good news. Good to see updates from Raspberry Pi Foundation. Jill, do we get any famous last words before we roll the credits this evening?
Well, go out there and make some new penguins. Whether that be installing a new distro or working on a Raspberry Pi.
You didn't rule out necromancy. I want you to resurrect penguins. They'll be new to you.
Aww. Keep those penguins marching, everyone. Aw, and thank you to all our wonderful patrons. Yeah, thank you again, PT Dave and Katana Steel and Nubbin for the Twitch subs and pledges.
All of our beautiful executive producers. I want to thank each and every one of you. Also, I want to thank Maxis, who just pledged $1. We got an Abstraction holding down Team Chicago, doing the things, Oliver C. Monsters, like Renown, David, System T, Nubs, hanging in there, hanging out with us on Fridays and Tuesdays, playing the Trackmania, gang at Death Notes, and so many chairlings I can barely fit you all on one screen.
And thank you, Don M, for the 100 little diamond cheers, crystal cheers on Twitch.
All right, beautiful people. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Love you all.
This is my floofy shirt.
It is a floofy shirt. I noticed that's unusual for you to wear a floofy shirt.
Well, it would be very much non-floofy if I put in my 2 sets of cufflinks.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Which I didn't, because I was like, I need a shirt to come and do the show, and I didn't feel like digging up my cufflinks. And the only cufflinks I have in here are my emergency octopus ones. And these are very metal and could break a glass desk with one of my uncontrolled, like, flailings.
Yeah.
So, floofy shirt.
Yeah, Ben doesn't usually wear loose fitting. He usually wears form-fitting clothes. I like loose. Like this shirt. It's a little big for me, but it was the only way I could get this penguin face on a shirt was to get a man shirt. So
I exercise too much to wear baggy clothes.
No, I've always liked baggy clothes. I like baggy clothes for exercising in. Playing volleyball, I usually wore men's volleyball shirts and oversized shorts just because I like to stay cool.
Well, when you come in Vin size, one thing that I've had to do, I mean, I've been doing it 20 plus years, tailors. Getting things custom cut, because things don't typically come in my size.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Gotta get necks altered, cuffs, arm lengths, because by the time you get to like my length, they think you're a barrel. I'm not.
Matthew says Jill has the style of West Coast hip hop. I guess I do. I do have loose clothes. West Coast hippie hip hop.
Does LGC get more of a cut? Patreon, definitely. Thing like Patreon, we were with patrons in like year 2, so we have like the founders thing with patrons, so they only take 5%, and we get to use all the other stuff. Like the fact that Patreon hosts our live and uncut podcast, which is almost 200 megs, like we're coming out on top just by having that.
It's nice.
So yeah, Patreon is plus it's easier to get tracked if you like your Discord and all that other stuff. But I mean, Twitch is fine. Like monetarily though, for Patreon, always ask somebody, because they could be a link in a different Patreon tier where it'd make more sense for you to like do Twitch subscriptions or something like that.
Yeah.
Always check, like if that's the type of thing you do.
Oh, cheesy! Yeah, you are tall. You do have a tall torso. You have to get probably those extra long shirts, like Ven.
Gotta get the long shirts, but that's a difficult multiplayer. I also got big chunky shoulders.
So wide.
Yeah, wide, like that way.
Yeah.
You always catch me like, this is like, I've like leaning in something I do, man. Like, try to look smaller.
My brother, he's only 6'1", but he looks like a football player, and
that's because he wears the helmet all the time.
Yeah, well, it's he's a swimmer, but he's built big like my dad was,
which is really impressive. I mean, have you ever seen a person swim with a football helmet on? It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. So he has to wear, and he's not fat. He has to wear 3X just to be able to find a shirt that fits his shoulders and extra. He's got huge hips. I've got big hips. My whole family, we have big hips. So it's yeah. So he's had a challenge his whole life, and with shoes, because he's bigger than average. Even though he's only 6'1", he has feet where he has to have custom made shoes.
Yeah, I got reasonable size feet. They're clown feet, but they're 13.5 UK.
13, okay. So
that's probably like a 14 something US.
14. Yeah, my brother was 15. And that's pretty big for someone who's only 6'1".
And you know what that means, ladies and gentlemen? I got big socks.
Oh, yeah.
You don't have to worry about a chunky brain. I'm on the cognitive decline area of my lifespan, which is fascinating. It's one of the reasons we play the Trackmania games on the weekends.
Yeah.
It makes you think. Each and every week, you're like, I got to learn a new thing. And you have to front load stuff in order to get around the track. You can't just like react to it or you'll die constantly.
Oh, Alex, you'll have to come in more and practice with us more if you can. I know you're working at System 76, so our Tuesday practice is probably difficult for you to come in, but maybe the Friday night.
Not if you get better at Screw It Off.
Yeah.
The one of the wonderful things about, I'm glad that I took the time to front load and getting the server and everything set up the way we have, because it runs 24/7. And we have our UK contingent that pops in. We have people that just can't make Tuesdays and Fridays, but they're there competing with us.
Yeah,
those times. They're like, all right, I see how it is. So we can do it very asymmetrical. We don't have to be together.
Yeah.
And because I know Ogie and Bisvik like to get in on like Thursday nights, and they just go at it. And because sometimes I stumble across them, I'm like, let me go practice for a minute, and they're just going at it. I'm like, I'll leave you guys alone. I'm making nervous. I'll just go into spectator mode. They know I'm watching.
Yeah, mostly I've gone in Wednesday night or Thursday afternoon or Friday morning.
Yeah, you do. You get in some weird times, because I was getting ready to reset the server the other day, and I was like, why is there a load? And like, who is it? No, oh, Jill's doing live. Sorry, I'll wait. We have that together. We got Pedro back from the shop, so he's going to be on the show Saturday. We'll probably have to do some fine calibration on him. Man, we got a lot of news to talk about on Linux Gamecast Weekly.
Yeah, you had last Sunday too.
Yeah, that was like an hour and 15-minute long show without a review.
Just of the news. Yeah, I know.
What else we got? We're definitely going to be talking about that 4090. Did everyone see the leaked images of that 4090?
Yeah.
I'm just... That's a very, very round boy, isn't it? Isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Very round, yes.
Like...
Chunky. At first I was even wondering, that looks more like a Steam Deck shape than a GPU shape.
I don't know why I want to try to slice bread with it.
Yeah.
Makes no logical sense whatsoever. What's the front look like? It looks like that. Now this is the Zotac, which means that they're in the process of putting these things in boxes. Like they're done. They're ready to go. Just make sure you have what was hang on. See, this is why I use social media. It's my backup brain. There it is.
Oh yeah, so true, cheesy. Yeah.
660 watts for your 4090 24 gig.
Yeah, that's still lower than my RX 6900, which is once 850 watt.
I know. So that goes to show you like how much more efficient the 40 series are. So next time somebody tells you that, oh, NVIDIA 4090s, or you just show them how like that AMD card, you're like, well, look at this thing. It sucks twice as much power and it's half as fast.
Yes.
Yeah, you see, well, you look at different things like that right there, and like you got what people think you'd want, like in a rendering box or something like that. They're like, oh no, we just need like all these 4 double slot GPUs. Like that doesn't happen. What you would find in a production facility is you got your daily driver GPU, something for a screen, something like that, a 30 series, 20 series. Then you might have 1 or 2 compute cards slapped in that. You don't have monitors plugged in. You got like an A6000 or something like that on top of it. So, it also keeps your power budget logical. Can you imagine trying to run 4 4090s? Like, with what? That power supply doesn't exist.
Yeah, with the AMD cards, they went from, requiring high wattage PSUs to much lower. They got more efficient. And then in their higher end series, the new RX 6000 series, they're power hungry again, but they said in the next iteration they're supposed to be lower. So they go up, and AMD goes up and down with that TDP.
Yeah, 2.5 width. See, I want a single slot blower card, but I got this thing in here, so I can't use it. I didn't have a microphone. Man.
Yeah. That's.
I got to keep the noise floor. Under, try to keep it under minus 52 dB FS. Which I do, but it's a challenge. Even last night when we got done, Jill, I was dragging out a keyboard and mouse to plug into Jackbox. I'm like, I can tune this fan just a little better now because it's getting slightly cooler.
Okay.
And that's the real battle. But man, I would love to be able to use, like me personally, single slot blower, like zzz, humming like that.
No.
Like, not a problem. I could pop in smear plugs, wouldn't bother me for a minute.
Yeah. I do have a blower, a couple RX 580s, and 2 of them are blower style, and of course those are those ones I'm not using in production. Those are just extra machines. Like behind me I have a gaming machine that's Pop! OS, and that's got a blower style RX 580, and not only is it noisy, they're hot.
Well, they're single slot.
Yeah.
I don't know if yours are quadros.
Well, it's dual. It's actually a dual slot,
okay.
But it's it just runs so hot, and I have right now in my broadcasting rig right here that's pink, I have an RX 580, but it's a nice XFX RX 580, and it's a 3-fan, and it's really, really quiet. It's exact opposite. So it's like my NVIDIA cards, you know, it's quiet. So.
I have a,
oh yeah, Alex, the RX 590. Yeah.
What was the Pascal? I have a Pascal quad. Yeah, the one before the 2 series. I have a Quadro from that series that I bought for Jackbox to just like see the viability of like running the fan on low as you will go without melting. Still too loud.
Oh.
Still too loud. And
yeah, my GTX 1080 is one of the smaller versions, and it's quieter than any of my AMD cards. Like, it's just got really good cooling. It's the EVGAs, and one thing I like about EVGA cards is they do usually run quieter. They do a good job with their fans.
I got everything running on this
MSI.
EVGA card. It's at 54%. We're using 52 watts. Just
nice.
chilling out, doing its thing. Because that's the type of card I needed. Buy the right tool for the job. Now again, there's nothing wrong with overkill. I'm a big fan of overkill. But we don't do overkill here. 37 will hype. You know, usually the video card, like with that, the best thing you can do with the video card is to, if you get an NVIDIA card, is install the, what is the name of the program? I had to install it with this one to make it NV fan control.
Yeah.
And configure that properly. Once you do that, that's a much better solution than the one that's built into the NVIDIA. That's right. You take that straw, or I'll do it again. The one that's built into the driver utility for NVIDIA.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh yeah, Alex. Yeah, I put an RX 6600 in a new build, and XT, and I'm enjoying that card as well. And I'm still waiting for the 6900 to come down in price, because it had been 1200, then it went down to 1000, and now I see them occasionally for around 700, 750. So I'm waiting for it to come down a little bit more, and then I'll grab it. Until, like Vince says, the next series releases, then they'll be a lot cheaper. So I'll be able to get 16 gig GPU for my 4K gaming. That'll be nice. And that's the main reason I want that card. It's just for 4K gaming. Oh, nice, Alex. I got mine when they I did get it on sale. I think it was $380 or something like that. And they've come down in price. All cards have. But yeah, you bought it when it was $500.
So let's go shopping. What do we think?
Yeah. Oh, $500.
$500, $499, 24 core, SP3.
Perfect.
I don't know. This is what I'm talking about. Like the used market for Epic CPUs, because they make a bazillion servers, right? Mm-hmm. And servers constantly get upgraded. So.
Oh, nice, Alex. 300. That's good.
What is that? A Mazda RX 580?
Oh, nice, Steve husband.
What is that supposed to be?
Future car.
I guess.
Mm-hmm. This one was from the 60s, if I'm correct, Steve husband, from the famous Steel books.
There you go, Cheesy Bacon. You got the right spirit. It's Steve. You just let Steve be Steve. That's how he operates best.
Cheesy got to meet me and Steve husband at Skill. Woohoo! We
Have you
had so much fun. Yeah.
for it?
So it was Sid Mead, from he drew these cars in the 60s. He's the one, he's made so many people have been inspired by him and his futurism and cars and cities, and most car designers are inspired by him. He was amazing, Sid Mead. Steve got to meet him. Yeah, U.S. Steel books. That's what I'm thinking. We have one in the house. But yeah, I gotta remember that was made in the 60s. So cool. There we go. Yeah, Sid meat is awesome.
I see Oil of Hope.
Oh, nice cheese bacon. Yeah, Steve's dad worked on that film. He did some of the cars.
I do want to thank you, Oil of Hope. You have increased your pledge quite a bit.
Oh, nice.
Now I gotta update everything. Thank you.
Yeah.
Fine.
Awesome, Alex. Awesome. And I'm so sorry. You know, I missed you here on your trip here. I had gotten a bit sick with the weather and allergies and headaches. I just haven't been feeling well the last couple weeks. Aw, I am. So yeah, I'll get to meet you next year at Scale. Yay! I get to see you and Jax and Cheesy again, and all the and of course Emma.
Are they going to be doing
my
the
unicorn in
Scale
spirit
at the same place?
It's going to be back at the Pasadena Convention Center in April, in March of next year. So it's 8 months instead of, we had to wait 8 months instead of 12, which is nice.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we're back to the Hilton. It was nice to go back to the Hilton because that's where we were. We were for Scale was there for 5 years before we moved to Pasadena Convention Center back in Scale 14X. But it was nice to go back to a smaller venue again and be with our core group. And, you know, of course, because of pandemic, there was only about half the people attending. But next year it should be back to normal, like 5,000 to 6,000 people, normal, and a lot more tracks and a lot more events. So I look forward to that.
It's your favorite alpha? Yeah, I had to look at it. Like, if I had to like think about, like with alphas, probably like it's either the Spider Velocia or the Disco Volante. But I don't know, like what looks better, like the old school one or the new one. That's here's the problem with alphas though. Alphas are cars that are meant to be looked at.
Yeah.
That's it. You don't want to own one.
It looks like that one has lots of it's hard to see out of the windows. Lots of blind spots in that car.
Yeah, they remade the Disco. Let's see.
Although the windshield in the back is pretty big. But I wonder if the fins in the back detract from the being able to see easily out the back.
I don't even think they care about that. They're like, whatever. It looks like this. Deal with it. What are you going to do? Like, yeah, it's like owning an Alpha. Which is great. Like, if you get time. It's okay. Yeah. Oh. I gotta do work now. See, now we're done with the fun part. I gotta do the boring stuff. Gotta turn the data bits into audio and video for later viewing enjoyment.
Yes. Oh, that's a neat Bugatti, honey. That's beautiful.
The only way that thing could fly is because the Earth repelled it. Yeah, I guess that could generate lift. That thing is... What is that supposed to be for, Steve? Yeah, who was it that did the American turbine car? Was it Ford?
of? Didn't your dad get to drive a turbine car, or is that the jet car I'm thinking of? 'Cause he was a car designer, so he got the Chrysler.
Well, one of the interesting things about that turbine car was it was flex fuel. Being a jet engine, you could basically pour anything that was combustible into it and it would keep going.
Yeah, so he got I remember his stories about driving it. Wow. Yeah.
But they did have little issues. Like, I'm pretty sure that's not an internet rumor that it parked too long at a red light, it would melt the pavement with the exhaust.
Oh, it had a fireball behind it.
It didn't have a fireball. It had a traditional exhaust on it, but the exhaust coming off of a turbine engine, it's a bit warmer than your standard ice. Yeah, there is. Is there any I think that was GM who made the, what was it, EV1, the original like that prototype electric car, not the original, but you know what I mean. In the 90s, they did like the electrical car rollout. I think most of them were in California. EV1 and EV2. It was GM. Yeah, I've always been interested in like how you work that out because like trying to excuse me, I keep trying to breathe liquid and it never works out.
Oh no, not good. Yeah, Steve Husband, was there a story about your dad when he was driving one and it malfunctioned and there was a big fireball? Is that what I'm thinking about? Maybe it was a different car.
It's like
one of those cars that had fire coming out the back.
Issue with driving a turbine-powered motorcycle is throttle control because there's so much delay.
Oh boy.
Between winding up and achieving
painful.
Speed.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's like every time I'm not in the market to buy a car yet. Turbo Jetta just keeps on ticking, despite my best efforts. Like logically, in the United States here, the only thing that makes any sense to buy is a Tesla for the charging infrastructure. Because if I need to drive cross country or cross state, I'm not going to be stuck at like, Uncle Sam's charging shack with a 120 outlet waiting 16 hours. The Aptera. So this is something that I can go buy? Or is this one of those like, oh, we're going to make one. Tote's going to make it. That site doesn't even work. Aptera. Yeah, okay. Oh, that's that little thing. Yeah, I'm not going to poo-poo on it at all. I'll believe it when I see it, though. That's one of those. Like, I'm down with the idea. I'd absolutely buy one.
Oh.
But when I see things like 1,000 miles, like, what's the curb weight of this thing? Like, if a hipster hits me in his fixie, is it going to tip the car over?
Or with the wind
blows you off a bridge, yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking of that, like on PCH.
I like the idea that see, here's like the other thing.
Polestar 2.
I keep meaning to do because I'm never going to let myself just straight up buy another motorcycle. I got that out of my system young. I thought about buying a motorcycle. Oh, yeah, that's right. But with a car side attachment. Something like that. Like ultralight. That'd be my ultralight. But, something like that. Hey, Aptera, they make this thing. It gets out on the market. It does what it says. This would be a good motorcycle replacement.
Yeah. Yeah, cheesy. I'm looking at the Polestar. It looks very like a classic muscle car, but a little bit more modern. It's nice. Yeah, I know my hubby loved the Dodge Challenger. It
The
kind of
only
has that
thing I
look a
got,
little bit.
they have the driven by the sun. See, that raises my heckles and my haunches right there. Photovoltaic cell. Like, that seems like a waste of money, because the efficiency on that's not going to be enough to give you any type of meaningful charge unless they've defied laws of thermodynamics or current manufacturing technology. That'd be a nice thing to have, like to maybe top off your 12-volt power supply, but that you're not going to get any meaningful charge from the sun. It seems like that's an added cost for no reason. So
yeah, and it's a trike. Although the back wheels, the single, those are usually a little more unstable. That would worry me. So unless it has a huge, really thick tire, back.
Well, again, the Aptera is not meant to compete against a car.
Okay.
I don't even think that thing could be licensed as a car. It has to be licensed as a motorcycle.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Could be wrong, but I'm just looking at it. I'm sure it's going to be taxed completely differently too.
Yeah.
It's a personal transportation vehicle. That'd be cool to play with. So what you're saying is they claim it's literally efficient enough for the solar panels to give you 40 miles a day in California. So.
That makes sense that they did. Those images were from PCH. I recognized that bridge it was on. I was like, oh, I've been on that bridge.
Yeah. Well, that would be like my whole
Morgan.
thing with that is when it comes to like solar charging, I like the concept and idea that I'm a huge fan of solar panels. I've thought about getting them in the house, even though it makes no financial sense, whatever. But it's one of those like, cause I wanna, and just deal with it. So I can say I have them. But like charging, it seems like they could save some money on production. I'm looking at it cost wise of like rolling these things out. It seems like they could cut some cost with like, it's a neat thing to say, but in practicality, save a couple of bucks. Oh, I have no desire to go off grid. Society collapses in a month if we lose power. Guaranteed. Like, it's Mad Max in 30 days. We don't have power. Like, for a personal thing, like maybe you want to go hang out. I like the nice cities. I like AC. I like computers.
Yeah, Steve and I looked into getting solar too, but the guy said, "Oh, if it's not cost effective, just the two of you. It's really, unless you have a family, then it's cost effective." But now that we're seniors, Steve and I can get a deep discount or almost free. So, oh God. So that's nice. And yeah, Steve's brother, he had, oh my gosh, this is back in the 90s. He got solar. He was one of the early adopters and spent like 150 grand on solar for the house. Yeah. And then he sold that house. So it didn't come with him either.
Well, to what you're saying, Arthur, yeah, you can like just go out and buy some that like legit that you could set up if you trust yourself with the wiring, like just on the commercial market. You don't have to, I mean, you can get a sizable charge, like something that you could make use of.
Yeah.
Like just buying it off the market and setting it up yourself. I mean, if you have enough.
Yeah. The Jackeries are good for that. I've been thinking about one of those. Yeah.
My biggest concern with solar is storage. Like it would only make sense to me if I had a power wall or some equivalent device to actually store. But hey, welcome to that problem that's been around forever. How do we store electricity reliably in an electrical grid? Answer, we don't. It's always interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Carbon, 10 years from now. That's battery technology. 10 years away. And it'll be better.
Oh, e-bikes. Yeah, those are so cool, cheesy. I like those. I've thought about one of those too, just because I don't drive, and but now I'm kind of more uncomfortable even being on the sidewalk alone without someone with me because of my vision. But on the strand at the beach, I love riding my bike down there, and that would just be, it'd be nice to have a hybrid so I could go for like 30, 40 miles and then come back on the strand. That would be cool. And not have to spend the day doing all the pedaling. Be nice.
I want some battery technology to get a little bit better because I like the idea of the, I played around, my friends got one of the one wheels.
Oh, yeah.
And those are neat. It was fun. It was like an alpha. It's like, it'd be great to play around with. And I had an afternoon where I played around with it, but it's just too big and bulky.
Mm-hmm. They are, yeah.
So it's like VR. Like I love the idea of VR, but I don't want to wear junk on my face and all that other stuff. Like, and when I'm downtown, I have the little app, the little green scooter thing. Like I get on that and I abuse it. I drive it like it's a rental because it is.
Yeah, I like, we have tons of rental scooters around here in LA. It's nice.
But I also like walking too. Like I don't waste time trying to park downtown. I'll park outside of downtown and walk to downtown.
Yeah. That's kind of me too. I like to walk a lot.
Which pretty much means no one wants to ride with me. Can you just drop me off where we don't have to walk 3 kilometers? I'm like, come on. It's fun. It's good exercise. When are we playing Serious? I don't have Serious Sam 4, so it's going to be a while.
Yeah, I know Jordan has it. I have it. And Matthew has it. And I told Jordan I would love to play it with him on Thursdays. Continue the series because we did all the other Serious Sams.
So for all the people sitting out there wondering when that will happen, it will definitely happen after we finish Back from Blood. So if you feel like hopping in and helping us out with that, you're more than welcome. Cool, everyone. It is already 4:30, so I got to go do the work bits. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. Do the things that you do. Get into some trouble. Just don't get caught. I will deny any knowledge of
Yeah.
I'll be your alibi. I'll tell them you were here watching the show the whole time. So we'll work it out. All right, everyone. I'll be back tomorrow with Jordan, 7:30 p.m. And we might have some other people with us. You might be watching us play with butts, which is always entertaining. It's like it's win-win on this. So Friday, we will be back with Filthy Casuals, Trackmania, 7:30. Saturday, Linux Gamecast, 8:30, 7:30 if you're a patron. Hop in. You can listen to the Pre-Pre Super Chosen, which is going to be full of spoilers because we record the spoiler cast for House of the Dragon and Rings of Power. There's your warning. Keep that in mind. I don't want to say good night. Good afternoon.
I know. Good afternoon. Aw. Love you guys. It was really fun chatting with you all.